Main man, made man here. Y'all know how I get down. We talking boxing. So we on the horizon of a big fight, man. Well, we got the IBF junior middleweight champion and Jarrett Swift Hurd going up against Austin No Doubt Trout, man. Let's start with Austin Trout, man. Austin Trout, it's like, I used to love Austin Trout, man, when he has had fights coming up, man. He's a hardcore fighter, man. You know what I mean? He takes his opponents to the very, very edge. So I've always liked to see Austin Trout fight. But it's like now, man, whenever I see Austin Trout, he's always crying. He's always bitching. It's always something, you know what I'm saying? If it ain't his mental condition, he's crying over fights that he thought he should have won. He's always came up short. Austin Trout is like America's George Groves. You know what I mean? The same way that the UK fighter is over there. Like, Austin Trout, he sits between that gray area of A and B. And he's not a bad fighter, not a great fighter, but he is a good fighter. You know what I'm saying? And it's like he's had chance after chance after chance to prove who he really is. And most of those chances, he's came up short. Now, we know we were all rallied with Austin Trout when he defeated Miguel Cotto years ago. And we were like, oh shit. Then he turned around and had that extremely close fight with Canelo Alvarez. Though he lost to Canelo Alvarez, there are a lot of folks out there that believe Austin Trout beat Canelo Alvarez. And then after that, it was like all downhill for Austin Trout. And when it comes to big fights, at least. He lost to Erislandy Lara. Then he turned around and he lost to Jamal Charlo. So Austin Trout has always just not been able to get over that elite hump, if you will. You know what I'm saying? And it's very unfortunate because, like I said before, he's a real good fighter, man. Well, anyway, there's news out about Austin Trout, and they're stating that Austin Trout is suing the WBO for $40 million. Now, if this lawsuit is successful on Austin Trout's behalf, this can effectively cripple the WBO to the point where they may not even exist no more. A fighter's done this years ago in which the WBC was sued. And the WBC had to reach a settlement with this particular fighter for $31 million. Because if they would have allowed that lawsuit to go through full-fledged, well, the WBC wouldn't exist, ladies and gentlemen. So this is what Austin Trout is. He's saying that, hey, man, he fought the Bum of the Month club for the WBO. And he came into the WBO ranked ninth, and he went on the ranked ninth, and he went on the Bum of the Month club of fights. And this brought Austin Trout all the way to be ranked number 4 by the WBO, in which you had 3 fighters ahead of him. One of them was Miguel Cotto. The other one was Saul Canelo Alvarez. Those 2 fighters decided to go off and fight for the vacant WBC title. And then you had a 3rd fighter there who had contractual or promotional issues. So that took the number 3 ranked guy out the way. And this should have been Austin Trout fighting for that vacant WBO title. Instead, they removed Austin Trout and they placed Liam Smith there, in which he was able to go and face an opponent for that vacant WBO title. Now, Austin Trout can't figure out why he was removed. The WBO is stating that, hey, man, you had the opportunity to go and face Liam Smith when the title was vacant. And you chose to go and face Joey Hernandez. 3 weeks later, after you booked that fight in September, we had Liam Smith announcing his particular fight. Now, Liam Smith applied to be reinstated because both Liam Smith and Austin Trout were dropped from the WBO rankings. And Liam Smith applied to be reinstated while Austin Trout didn't. So not only did Austin Trout miss a fight to fight for that vacant WBO title, but he also was never reinstated by the WBO. So this allows Austin Trout to bring a lawsuit. Now, I don't know who's right and who's wrong in this situation. A lot of people can sit back and speculate all you freaking want. But until we hear a verdict on this thing, we don't know who's right and who's wrong. All we know is that the WBO seems very confident that they will win this. And they're looking to go forward. I haven't heard anything about settlement talks or anything like that. But this is once again another situation where we see Austin Trout kicking and screaming. You know what I'm saying? About something. And so this is what I be saying about Austin Trout, man. He always whining and shit. Now, this To most people, they would say, well, main man, made man, that's legitimate. But then when you look at it in the full context of things, Austin Trout in his last fight faced Jermall Charlo for the IBF championship. So, though Austin Trout lost and he fought in his last fight for the IBF title, he's now, in his very next fight, fighting Jarrett Swift Hurd for the same exact title. So, though you lost in your last fight for this title, you are now steadily getting another title shot. What the fuck are you crying about, man? And that's what I be saying about Austin Trout. Your ass in a title fight, and you still whining that you missed the opportunity to be involved in a title fight. I mean, what the fuck? I mean, did you think the WBO route was going to be much easier for you? Huh? Is that what it is? Well, guess what? You're going up against Jarrett Hurd. Jarrett Hurd, a guy in his last 6 fights, has ended them all by knockout, including over Tony Thompson, which is a very respectable fight in which he won the vacant IBF title that was once held by Jermall Charlo. Now, Jarrett Hurd has been getting better and better every fight. When I first laid eyes on Jarrett Hurd, I thought he was a bit sloppy for my taste. And I thought he had some stamina issues going down the stretch. Well, I see that as getting much more better and much more better. The one thing that this kid has going for him is that he can crack all this shit. Like, this dude can crack, he can punch. His skill level is rising more and more every fight. I got a lot of confidence in Jarrett Hurd going into this particular situation. He doesn't open his mouth as much as I would like to see him. But then again, at his division, I guess he already knows what's available to him, and it ain't really much. But this is just a matter of time before we get Jarrett Hurd and the Andrade, and Jarrett Hurd or in a Charlo into these fights. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe even a Jarrett Hurd, Kell Brook. Who fucking knows? Kell Brook, former IBF champion at welterweight, can maybe want to come up and make a run at the IBF rankings at 154. It's not advised on my part, but I'm just saying that's a possibility. But anyway, Jarrett Hurd, man, the dude can fight very good on the inside. He fights decently from the outside. I think he can be a bit better with that. I think he lets opponents close the grounds too easy on him. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't really run the real estate as much as I like to see him do. But he's getting better and better every fight. He's not nearly as sloppy as he once was. He's ending fighters. He's getting fighters out of there. And it's just going to be a matter of time before he's one of the top dogs at 154, if he's not already considered that. So this is a very, very good fight and a very, very good opportunity for Jarrett Hurd, because this will be probably the biggest recognizable name on Jarrett Hurd's resume. I don't think the JoJo Dans and the Tony Thompsons, at least not yet, you know what I'm saying, those are not big enough names to really, catapult Jarrett Hurd into the spotlight, you know what I'm saying? But an Austin Trout, a guy who has been in there with top contenders and champions, a win over Austin Trout can do a lot for Jarrett Hurd. But however, a win for Austin Trout in this match can do a lot for Austin Trout. It can reinstate him as a champion. He can reinstate some confidence back in Austin Trout that a lot of fans have lost in Austin Trout. And most importantly, hopefully it can make him stop looking like a biatch. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is, man. So this is a big fight this weekend. If I had to do a guesstimation for a prediction right quick off the top of my head, I'm rolling with Jarrett Swift Hurd. I think he just has too much momentum at his back. I think this kid is just getting too much better and better every fight. He is in his prime years, in which I think the prime years of Austin Trout are behind him, though he still is a very dangerous and good fighter. We've seen that performance that he did against Jermall Charlo. Though he lost to Jermall Charlo, I thought he still put in a decent performance, and it was a good fight. So Austin Trout, I think he does take Jarrett Hurd to the end. I think it's going to be a very close fight. I think it's going to be a good fight. But I think the power shots from Jarrett Hurd will start to pile up on Austin Trout, in my opinion, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm rocking with Jarrett Swift Hurd. I think he wins this. We'll see how this thing plays out, man, especially the Austin Trout WBO situation. Keep our eyes on that, man, and see how this thing rolls. Because like I said before, man, if Austin Trout wins this, he actually has the potential to end the WBO. And the WBO's love affair with top-ranked promotions has a lot of fight fans put off by the WBO anyway. So we'll see how this shit goes. So to the next video, Main Man, Made Man. Don't forget to subscribe. Twitter, Made Man 511. Facebook, Main Man, Made Man Boxing Forum. Google Plus, Main Man, Made Man. I mean, like I said, man, I still respect Austin Trout. I love to see him fight, but it's just like, damn, dude, why are you always just fucking bitching? You know what I'm saying? Like, you got 2 back-to-back opportunities. Many would say you didn't even freaking deserve this one. You know what I'm saying? You were ranked so low by the IBF prior to this fight. Let's not forget, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Austin Trout was roughly about 11th ranked, but there is no other big-name opponents in the IBF rankings. No one worth mentioning, at least. You know what I'm saying? At least not for a champion to win a fight. I mean, take your pick from the IBF bums at 154, and you'll see that Austin Trout is the main name that stands out. So we'll see how this shit goes. So to the next video, don't forget to subscribe. Peace out.